Hello friends, this video on motion and measurement of distance part 7 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Okay, so we are almost done with measurement of distances. How we measure distance, how we measure length, what are units, and how do we convert from one unit to another. So all these things are pretty much clear. Now I have been talking about distance between two cities. Now how do we cover this distance? Let's say Chennai and Bangalore, the distance between them is 350 kilometers, as I discussed. Now the question is, how are we covering that distance? We are covering with the help of an object which is moving. Here in this case it is a bus. So we are just sitting inside the bus and the bus is moving from Chennai to Bangalore. So when you want to cover some distance, there has to be some object which is moving, and this movement is associated with what we call as motion. So whenever we talk about moving from one position to another, moving from one place to another, something has to move, and that movement is nothing but motion. So in physics, we define motion as change in position with time. So if you again look at the same bus, the bus was initially at Chennai, after some time it was at some other point, after some time again it was at some other point, and finally it reached Bangalore. So as time passed by, the position of the bus kept on changing, and that is when we say that the bus is in motion. So let us look at the moving blades of the fan. So when the blades move, the blades are continuously changing their position. At this point it is here, next point it is here, next point it is here. So continuously changing position. So the blades of the fan are in motion. Similarly, you look at the example of a moving car. So when the car moves, what happens? Initially it was at this position. This was the initial position. After some time it was here again. After some time it was here, and finally it reached at this position. So this is an example of a car in motion. Let us look at some other variety of examples where we see motion, where we see objects moving. So look at this. When this girl is playing football, so what's happening? Do you think that the girl is in motion? Yes, of course, because the arms, the legs of the girl is continuously changing their position with time. So obviously overall the girl is in motion. You talk about a person who is running. So he is in motion because with every instant of time his position is changing. When you are working on a laptop, you are sitting in front of computer and you are working on the laptop. Do you think there is any motion anywhere? Because you are not changing your position. You are sitting at the same place. So basically you are not moving from one place to another. But when you look at your fingers are constantly changing their position. So that your fingers are in motion. Look at a bird which is flying. So the bird is flying from one place to another. So the bird is again in motion. Think of a lady who is dancing. So when you are dancing, your hands, legs, fingers, everything is like moving. They are changing their position with time. So your different parts of your body are in motion. So not only these, you think of other examples which already exist in nature. For example, think of the rotation of the earth about its axis. So we all know that the earth rotates about its own axis like this. So rotation of the earth is also a motion because with time, each point on the earth is changing its position, right? So at this instant of time, this point is here, next instance it is here, next instance it is here, and so on. So with time, the position is changing and therefore this is in motion. You talk about revolution of the earth around the sun. We also know that the sun, the earth not only rotates about its own axis, but it also revolves around the sun. So if this is the sun, this is how the earth rotates around it. So there also the position is changing with time. So the earth is in motion. So these are all, so when you look at different things around yourself, try to see which objects are in motion and which objects are at rest. Let's say when your fan is switched off, observe it. Do you think it is in motion? No. But as soon as you switch it on, what happens? The blades of the fan starts moving. So the blades start changing their position with time. So the blades are in motion. So in real life, you try to observe things around yourself and try to find out which objects are in motion and which objects are at rest. Now, when we talk about motion, it is a relative term. What do we mean by relative term? It means that whenever we say that an object is in motion, we say with respect to some frame of reference. Now, what do we mean by frame of reference? Sounds a difficult term, but the concept is not that difficult. Let's say you are standing at the bus stop. So, do you think you are in motion? No, because you are standing at one place. You are not moving from one point to another. You are not changing your position. So, you are at rest. Now, what happens? A bus arrives. A bus comes and it just passes by. So, you are still at rest. Correct? You are still at rest. But think of the same situation with respect to somebody who is sitting inside the bus. Let's say for a passenger who is sitting inside the bus, for that passenger, are you at rest? That passenger might feel that you are moving in this direction, because when we are sitting inside the bus, we are not moving, the bus is moving. Basically. So I am at rest. The person who is sitting inside the bus thinking that he is at rest. But when he is looking outside, he feels that these people, the bus stop, the trees, everything is moving in the opposite direction. So, there are two different things. With respect to you, you are at rest. But with respect to somebody inside a moving bus, you are moving. So that is why we say that motion is a relative term. So it always depends with respect to what are you looking at the motion of an object. So that reference is termed as the frame of reference. So if you are looking with respect to yourself, then you are the frame of reference. If you are looking at it with respect to the person sitting inside the bus, then that is the frame of reference. So whenever we talk about motion, we always say that an object is in motion with respect to a particular. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.